By a thief.
By a thief. Good. And again, just to point out, okay, we care most about his card here, right? The receiver of this terrible action. So that's why we put it on the front here. We use the modal could. We're not sure, man. We don't know what happened, but we're kind of thinking this may have been the case. So we use could. We're not very certain. And then we use the perfect. We use be verb plus a past participle to do this. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We can use the model by another grammar like I want to use the present past simple present.
So be careful. Of course,
Or,
you can
or
do
just this.
This is how we speculate.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's it.
This is it, man. This is how we do it in English. And again, remember, you're making it, yesterday we talked about making it active, okay? And because we were focusing on the doer of the action to something else. Today, I'm teaching you how to speculate. Really, it's about natural phenomena, all right? Or some object. And you want to focus on speculating on what, or the reason for something happening to that object. Does that make sense? So we use the passive, focus on the receiver. This is the way we do it in English. Yes?
Can I begin before my talk? Can I begin, I think myself?
Sure you can. Then it's just you thinking, right? I think, and it's just a reporting. Then you're reporting something that you're thinking about in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, sure. If you want it to be like a conversation with yourself or something, right? All right, hey, can somebody make this certain? Now make Ali certain.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Must have been killed by a squirrel.
And how do we keep talking? How do we know he was killed by a squirrel?
Yeah. Yeah, lots of bits.
All right. So listen, if I want to go 100, if I want to be certain, all right. Now, certain means 95% sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we looked at Ali's body and he has teeth marks, right? So we're thinking it had to be some animal in the backyard that attacked him. So we're 95. Let's just say 95% sure. And what can I use for 95?
Must.
Yeah.
Could.
Ali
Must.
must have been killed by a squirrel because of the teeth marks all over his body.
Yeah.
All right, and they look like squirrel teeth. Okay. Now, I could also say must not.
Yeah.
So give me a negative. Somebody else, give me a negative.
Ali must not have been killed by a squirrel.
Well, listen, we think he's killed by a squirrel. Say he must not have been killed by Josh. Yeah, I mean, Josh definitely didn't do it because my teeth are too big. The teeth marker's small, right? So, Ali must not have been killed by Josh. No, or some other crazy person. All right, so we can use must or must not. Okay? Now we know. Okay, we actually found the squirrel with bloody teeth. Okay, with hair missing from his tail.
Yeah.
So now we're 100% sure we've caught the killer.
Yeah.
So, how would I express that?
Ali
Hold on. Yeah, go on. Ali
had
Ali was killed. Ali had to have been
killed by a cat.
Yeah, teacher.
Ali had
To have.
have been killed. This is weird, but this is the way it works.
Teacher, can I say
Okay.
Ali
Yeah.
was killed by Ali was killed by squirrel.
You can do that, but this is passive. This is passive.
Yeah, you can
Like
say
a drama,
that.
monodrama.
So you just want to use past. Ali was killed by a squirrel. You can, but we want to focus on. We want to focus on poor Ali's body that's dead on the ground. You know, so it's much more. It has a much more vivid. It draws the attention to his poor body. Okay, not the act of killing him, but his poor body that's dead. We got to stop talking about poor Ali in this way.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, listen. The point is, if you're 100% certain of something, then you put had to, and then put have been killed. Or if I want to go the negative,
Could, okay.
there. If I want to go negative, and I'm certain, then I can say Ali. Can somebody help me out here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can't have been.
What? Yeah.
Can't have been killed by
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah. So listen. This is interesting. It's possible to say can't have been, but no one ever says that. You can put it in your writing and it's not wrong grammatically, but Americans always say couldn't. Couldn't have been. Are you with me?
Yeah. Yes.
Ali, if I want to go negative, couldn't have been killed. All right, everybody okay? All right. Now, in English, when you're talking, we don't all, listen, everybody's lazy, right? If you can make it short, we like to make it short. So, if I ask you a question about something, and you're going to speculate, we actually cut the answer short, okay? So check it out. Look down below right here. Ali, will you read right here? Short responses.
Okay. Short responses with the perfect models and passive voice.
Yeah.
Is it possible they were called by meteoroid?
Yeah.
Do you think they were... okay, the man have been. Do you think they were made by hand?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they could have just been lost.
Mm-hmm.
Could they have been stolen?
Okay, so here's what I want you to notice. You can actually ask a question using these modals, right? To show that you have a question that you're uncertain of something. So you want to look at the question, and the first one it says, is it possible they were killed by a meteorite? Let's leave Ali alone, okay? Instead of Ali, let's turn it into let's just turn it into a cat. Let's say the cat was killed by the squirrel, okay? So can somebody ask me, using one of these formats for a question about this cat? Yes.
It is possible that the cat was killed by...
Is it possible
that the cat was killed?
The cat
was
killed
by
a squirrel?
Very.
Alright. Now listen, this is interesting, and it's a great question, right? It's a great way to set it up. So notice you have the verb subject order of a sentence. Is it
Us.
So you've got the flip-flop here, and then remember, possibility. We don't know it. It's the idea of uncertainty, right? Is it possible? What? What is this thing? Is it?
No, it's
Adjective.
It's an object of the sentence. So what kind of a clause? It's a noun clause. Okay? So if you guys remember, you can add, what do we...
You can take off the...
You can. Yes, you can actually. Is it possible the cat was killed by a squirrel? Now this is interesting. What form of the verb is this? Passive, isn't it? It's a simple passive. It's a simple past passive because I have the be verb plus past participle, don't I? And this carries the verb tense. It's just a simple past passive. All right, and we're asking about the squirrel again, aren't we? I'm sorry. What is the focus on here? The cat or the squirrel that killed the cat?
The cat.
The cat! The receiver of the evil deed. Yes? So now, somebody speculate for me and be 100% certain. Who wants to help me here? Be 100% certain. Yeah.
The
cat had to have been killed.
Has to. What is it? Has to.
To have
Good.
has been
Been
killed
killed
by squirrel.
by the squirrel.
Did you ever say had?
If I say the cat had to have been killed by the squirrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. As a matter of fact, depending on the tense we use up here,
Okay.
because this is past, passive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it actually makes more sense. So this thing happened in the past, and we're speculating. I mean, this works best if we're standing right there looking at the dead cat, right? But if you're telling them a story that happened yesterday, and you found a dead cat in your yard, so yeah. And actually, it does. I like that, the way you're thinking there. Just change that to past. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Now listen, the truth is in English, we don't say all that. If we're having a conversation,
The cat was killed by a squirrel.
Yeah,
yeah, how would you say it?
the squirrel killed the cat.
Well, yeah, you could say the squirrel did it. That's one way to say it, right? Notice here, look at their example. Is it possible they were killed by a meteorite? They may have been. They had to have been. They could have been. They might have been.
Okay, that's the full sentence or full.
So the full sentence would be, if I'm answering this one right, is it possible they were killed by a meteorite? They may have been killed by a meteorite.
No, you know what you talk about the kill. Just.
Well, of course, because if we're talking and I ask you a question,
Okay, how can I
it's-
make it with this?
let's take a second. So, is it possible? It works better with a pronoun, right? It's possible that. What's the pronoun for cat? It.
Yeah.
It's possible it was killed by a squirrel. I'm sorry. Is it possible it was killed by a squirrel?
It may.
It may have.
been.
Yeah.
Been killed by a squirrel.
No, it may have been.
So I can say, if I'm certain, it had to have been killed by a squirrel.
It's had to happen.
Really, I can just say it had to have been, right?
Yeah.
Or what if I'm not completely certain? 50-50 maybe? It must
Have been.
have been, it must have been. What if I'm not certain at all?
It's may. It may have
It may have been.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
And that's a great point. It really only works well when you're using, in that situation, notice they put the they there instead of the actual subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think they were made by hand?
They had to happen.
Answer it the same way. Okay. And it's a normal question. And then you've got, I wonder if they could have been lost. Again, that's interesting. Notice, does it have a question mark or a period on the end there? Why? Why is
Because
it?
it's wonder. Because they wonder.
Yeah.
He didn't ask, he's just telling him that he's wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, I think you've had this. We can use noun clauses to indirectly ask a question.
Yeah. Anyone hear me? You can answer.
Let's say that again.
Anyone hear me? You can answer if you know what's happening.
Does anyone hear me?
If I say that, anyone hear me? And he knows to answer me.
What's your question? Or are you just giving me an example?
No.
I'm sorry.
It's a question.
It's a question?
It's,
You can say that. I mean, you can say, but that would be a real question, right? Does anyone hear that? I don't know how that fits with this, though. What's your question? Just forget it! Okay.
I wonder.
What?
He said, I said, I wonder if they could have just been lost. Anyone said wrong, he can answer me, not just one person.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Because I wonder, but
sure. Hey, listen, take a break.